1, 2, 3. Okay. So here we are. I hope this is working. I have no clue if it is, but maybe it is. I'll see. And I'll just wait a little second and then we shall begin. Okay, I think it's working. So here we are, the no view stream. I haven't done this for ages, live streamed. And these things really kill your channel. I got 12,000 subs and everything. And then one day I started live streaming and everybody left. But that's okay. It helps me. So it's really cold in here. Let me put some heating on and then we shall begin. Andy Warhol looks a scream. Hang 'em on my wall. All right, so this is going to be a cool little Sunday project here, even if there's nobody here. There's nobody here, just me. Anyway, I haven't done this for a while, so I'll be making lots of mistakes like this. Can you hear me? Maybe. And a whole bunch of other things. But we'll do the best that we can, and let's see if we can build something cool. I started mucking about with this last night and I was really happy with how it went. However, unfortunately, the forum has got a lot of bugs in it. So before I can even build anything cool, I'm going to have to fix a few bugs to do with validation errors. I'll be as quick as I possibly can. And I'm going to start this off by making up a new module called Things. And I'll have a new file called things.php. And I'm just going to go like that. I'll say class things extends TronGate. We'll get rid of that. And then I'll just say hi. Okay, so this is an offline version of the forums here that need fixed, by the way. And I'm going to go to this things thing and you can see that it says hi. Okay, so basically, there's a whole bunch of stuff that has to be done just to fix these forums, and it is going to be a bit dull, but I'll do it as quickly as I possibly can. So the first thing is I want to build and test normal form validation. Then I want to build and test inline form validation. Then we're going to build and test TronGate MX validation. Then I'm going to do all three of these again, but within the discussion forum, because it has its own CSS and stuff like that. And then we're going to add in DeepSeek AI form validation, kind of to police the forums. None of that's new. We've had it all for ages. But then the final thing is we're going to get the Openclaw stuff happening. Now, I was mucking about with this last night and it was really cool. I'm quite excited about this thing, but I'm going to try and do a couple of things. I'm going to try and do some kind of framework training, and then I'm going to post or assign 5 tasks. So the first one is going to be a simple framework question. I don't know, we'll figure it out. The next will be an advanced framework question. The next one will be why does it do this question. A little bit more abstract. Then I'll do a speculate about strategy or the future or something like that. So I'm trying to get it to be more abstract question. And the last one is going to be contribute to an existing discussion thread. So that's going to be the 5 tasks. I reckon it will take me 4 hours to get to here, in case you're wondering. That's how long I think it's going to take, and it's going to be really, really boring up until here. But that is what's coming up. Welcome, welcome. It's been a long time, and look at how unpopular I am. I told you. But that's okay. It gives me motivation, you know. I mean, somebody could watch it. You never know. All right. So let's deal with simple, very simple form validation stuff. I'll go like this. How do we do this? I'll go like this. And I'm going to go to things/create. Okay, now on this, I'm going to just say data view file is create. And then this templates public data. All right, so it's trying to load up a view file. Nothing wrong with that. So I'm going to go into views. And we're going to have a view file called create.php. There it is right there. And let's just make it that the headline is create new thing. So on here, we'll have a little container and then a headline. Okay, cool. I'm going to have a form. So let's have a form. Look, actually, let's just do this way. So it'll be things/submit. And then we'll close the form. And then up here, I'll say form label is going to be thing title. And then echo form input. That's going to be called thing title. It will be empty. And then we'll have another one of these that says thing description. And that's going to, whoops, that's a problem with this text editor. So that's going to be thing description. Like that. And then let's have a div with a class of text center. Close it off. And then let's have a little button here. Now this is going to go to the base URL. It's going to say the word cancel. and it's going to have a class of that. So a little cancel button, but then we'll have form submit like that. Perfect. Okay, a little swig of coffee, I think. So I'm in the business of doing basic form validation stuff, you know. I'll pass in an array of auto complete off because we just don't need it. Okay, so form open, form submit, oh pardon me, form close goes here. Right, that should be it. So if we submit, it's taking us to this submit endpoint here. Let's just quickly build this. So the way it works is we're going to say validation, set rules, and we've got a thing title, and I'll just say thing title, and let's just say required minimum length is 5. That's all we need. And I'll do the same for thing description. All right. Now, when these run, they're going to produce a result. So something like that. If the result is true, then I'm going to say well done. But if the result is not true, I'm going to invoke create. So let's give this a try. I'm just going to keep these empty and go like that. And you can see that this is loading up. So if we go right back, maybe about here, and echo validation errors, then submit, what do you know? We have a gig. Now, I just thought of something there. Let's chuck thing title in here, and let's chuck thing description in here, and then around about here we'll say thing title is post thing title, and then thing description is post. You can see that the form is auto completing. The validation is cool. So 3 cheers for us. Our first checkpoint has officially been reached. Normal form validation is working. All right, let's go on to the next one. Inline form validation. And by the way, normally I wouldn't need to do this, but there's a massive framework upgrade coming up round the corner. And so that's why I have to just make sure these things are cool, you know. I assume I'm still on my own. Can you believe it? There's a few crazy rock and rollers passed by. Well, how you doing, Woz? Welcome to you, welcome. And can you believe it? All the way from Germany, it's Apache. And how you doing, Kyle? Always positive and always good to see you, Kyle. I hope you're doing well. For anybody just joining, I'm doing a wee bit of a Sunday project. It's all in the description, nothing to be taken too seriously. But you're welcome, you're very welcome. Let me get a swig of coffee and then we'll move on to the next phase here. So I'm keeping an eye on this, and that's where I'm hoping to get in 4 hours. Okay, second one's inline form validation. So how does that work? Well, we take out this and we chuck in an array with a class of highlight errors. Then for each of these little beauties, we echo validation errors, and then you put in the form field name here. So if this thing works, we should now have inline validation errors. Let's give it a try. And there you have it. So that is really, really cool. That's good. So the second test is cool. Now, I just thought of another one, by the way, which is custom validation callbacks. I'll quickly do that. It won't take too long. So the way that you would do that is you would say callback, and then it would be something like title check. And then you'd have a little function down here, something like that. And I'm going to just say if the string is hello, then the error message equals you are not allowed to say that in here. Just some stupid custom thing, right? But if everything is cool, we return false. So let's try that one. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to just type in hello. There it is here. And I think that is fantasticola. So we've now done that one. 3 cheers for us. All right. This is where it gets really tricky. Ah, gee. All right. TronGate MX validation. How does that work? It's probably a good idea if I have a quick look at the docs for this. Okay, so TronGate MX validation. You start off by defining some form attributes. We've now taken out the form location here, and instead we're going to be doing it this way. Okay, so that becomes our form open tag. We've got our class of highlight errors, so that's kind of cool. And let's just take that out like this, but we can go further. For example, we can run MX after validation, which will run a JavaScript thing. I actually have no clue what that is. But let's just stick with that, right? Now, for displaying of validation errors, what we want to do is when the validation errors fail over here, you remember this stuff? Instead of loading up create, we're going to just say validation errors 400. Now, fingers crossed, I'll just cancel and then, oh gee, why did I do that? All right. So here we go. Okay, I know exactly what's going on here. If we look at templates, actually, I just know what it is. If you look at the source code here, we don't have any TronGate MX stuff. So the solution is to say additional includes top is a little script tag, a little source. Now it's going to be js TronGate mx.min.js. And I'll just say data additional includes top equals additional includes top. And now you can see that TronGate MX is being included. So this could be a very short stream. Okay, so, oh, do you know what it is? You know what it is, don't you? I forgot to close off this. There we go. And there it is. Right, okay. So that was a miserable failure. Let's have a closer look at what just happened, and let me just switch off LastPass here, will you? All right, all right. So here we are, and if we inspect, and I'll bring up this network tab here. Now you can see that there's really not much happening. Not much at all. And maybe we need to echo validation errors. Could that be what it is? I think it is. Let me just double check that. Yep, we need to echo validation errors. So I'm going to take a wee note of this. When using TronGate MX validation errors. Actually, can I show you my new toy? Check this out. Oh, hang on. When using TronGate MX, validation errors must be echoed. How you like me now? See? As hip and trendy as you like. All right. So that's part of the issue solved. We now know that this thing is rendering JSON here. But unfortunately, there's really not much else happening. Now, let me get this thing going to here. All right. So I want to look at the source code here closely. Okay, that's a wee bit miserable, but fair enough. And when I go like this, did you see anything changing? So I suppose, well, that's the question, innit? What changed? Well, I can see we've got right, our label's the same. Our form is the same. Our second one has added a class. The first one does not have a class. We've got a label. We've got another class. And on we go. All right, now let's try another test. Let's make it so that the first one is cool. So with this one, what do we get? We still get a class. And we still get a class, right? There's something no right there. There is definitely something no right about that. I think the response is cool. But there's something just not right. So, let's inspect here. And I think the problem could be to do with maybe with this. Nah, it's not. This is a TronGate MX problem. Okay. Oh, yeehaw. All right. So I can see a thing called attempt display val. Well, I suppose the first thing I should do is start using the full thing. Okay. And I can see a thing that says attempt display validation errors. And then I can see handle validation errors. Okay. Now, before it even runs that, let's just have a little bit of code that says attempting to display validation errors. All right. We'll keep this thing on here. Okay. Now I'm going to go like that and like that. Keep an eye on the console. And you can see that it says attempting to display validation errors. That is excellent. Good. So now what have we got? Validation dot blah 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 is not a function. That's on line 821. Okay, so handle validation errors is here. And it's taken in a thing called validation errors. Let's make life interesting and we'll get a little summary of what the validation errors are. So here we go. Keep an eye on the right. So validation errors is an object. It has a type of object. Well, that was pretty useful. Okay, let's try something else. Let's try this. think that's about right. And then we'll go like that, and then we'll just do our return statement. Validation errors dot for each is not a function. Validation errors dot for each is not a function. All right. Let's go back to square one. And let's console.log http.response text and then return. Okay, so what we got, this is the response text. Now, validation errors is blah, 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 blah. Okay. Now let's just go like that. And then let's go like that. Okay. So each form field is getting an array. If I go console.log validation errors, then now it's an object, so I think it would be a dot, and I would say thing title 0. It should say what the first error was. And it does. It says the thing title must be at least 5 characters long. Perfect. Right. I now have a pretty good indication as to what the issue is here. And I'm going to embarrass myself. Okay. Hold on. All right. So I said I was going to embarrass myself, and here we go. Hello, I'm doing some work with TronGate MX. It's a JavaScript library that comes with the TronGate PHP framework. Are you familiar with it? With what? Or the TronGate PHP framework? Yeah, I figured out this thing that can let you talk to your computer, and it really gives your fingers a break, you know? You miserable swine. It has heard of it. I don't believe it. TronGate MX can be thought of as being a sort of alternative to HTMX. I presume you are familiar with HTMX. I'm working on a system for handling and dealing with form validation errors. When somebody submits a form using TronGate MX, if there are validation errors, then an HTTP 400 response will be served, and the response body will typically take the following type of format. As you can see, each form field potentially has an array of errors that are associated with any given form field. This makes it possible for individual form fields to have more than one form validation error. The challenge I'm facing is with regards to the following method. The method is attempting to loop through the validation errors, which makes sense, but the challenge is that because of the format of the HTML response body, the validation errors are being interpreted as an object. Here is the complete TronGate MX codebase, and I do hope that you can assist with this. I don't like asking AI for help, but it's a bit of a downer. But if I can get help with something like this, I'll take it. All right. This won't work because it's an object. Here's the thing. Replace it with the corrected version. Okay. So object.entries, this is the stuff that trips me up, you know. It just trips me up. Right, here we go. So it's going to be handle validation errors. Now keep an eye on the line count here. Actually, where does it start and where does it end? This is a key question, isn't it? I think it's there. So it's gone all the way to 902, and we're expecting this to be the same type of size. And it is, more or less. A little smug indentation. Let's save. And now have a refresh. Go like that. Thank you very much indeed. And hello, Honolulu. So even if I say hello, we get that. But don't crack open the champagne just yet, because we've got a thing called validation error report here. And I don't think that we've defined how validation error report works. So let me just check that. Okay. Okay, so this file of ours, which is called TronGate.css, think I've just I think I've just realised that there's a problem, and the problem is that, hold on. Okay, I'll rename that as create mx, and I'll rename this as create.php. Okay, I need to keep this up. Okay, so with this one, we say things submit. We say that, save, refresh, submit. Oh, you miserable thing. Okay, so var dump from, I think it's called from TronGate MX. Okay, so I'm going to just say if from TronGate MX is true, then we go like this. Otherwise, we go like that. So what that means is, that's what I wanted to see. You can see the problem, right? We've got one type of validation error appearing here and a different type appearing here. This is highly, highly uncool. So the question, oh, it's so miserable. It's so miserable. Oh, gee, where's that coming from? Right, I can see TronGate MX has got something here and not much here. Okay, I suppose. I just thought something. Hold on. Right, what that one does with the form fields is quite cool. But what this one does with the errors is pretty cool. It would be nice if we could combine the best of both worlds. So let's take a closer look and find out what it is they're doing that's making them look so different. In the case of this, we've got this validation errors in line happening. And there's really nothing happening that is affecting the actual form field here. Now, in the case of this one, we've got a totally different thing. We've got validation error report, and then we've got a class of form field validation error being added. Oh, you miserable swine. What a downer. Right, okay. Be positive, be positive. Okay, so I think I'm going to have to, oh geez, to AI or not to AI? That is the question. It's heavy, innit? Well, I can see that we're using a colour of danger here. Are we doing the same here? I mean, it would be nice if we had something that they had in common. I think we are. Okay. So, all right. So let's do these things one at a time. The first thing I'll do is I'll focus on the old school one. And I suppose we just need to add this class on here. So if I go inspect and then chuck in a class equal to that little beauty there, now we get this. And I think I quite like that. I do indeed think that I quite like that. So, form field validation error. Let's go into validation JS, highlight validation errors. Now, that's how it looks with multiple errors, by the way, and I think it's pretty cool. So what's it doing here? If we search for validation errors inline, oh, you miserable thing, highlight errors, validation error report, hold on, no, okay, let's keep going. So highlight error fields. So if it's a checkpoint, it does that. And who even knows what that means? But if it's not a checkpoint, it goes form field validation error. Or at least it should. Ah, jeez. Okay. All right. Now running highlight error fields true. Caveman coding here. So if I go like that and then go like, I think it's possibly the same problem. I think it is. In fact, I'm pretty sure it is. Thank you. I think that the same problem may exist within the following JavaScript file. Do you agree? Thank you for the avoidance of doubt. And to make sure I get this right, can you please return the entire JavaScript file as you now think it should be? All right. So we get 70 lines of code and 85 lines of code. And now we're going to refresh, submit, you miserable thing. Hard reload, submit. Damn. Right. And the fact that that's saying cool means that it's attempting to fetch validation errors. So I'm going to say no errors. So if we go like that, it says no errors. Keep it really simple. So there's no errors. Ah, that's it. Right. Okay, cool. Cool. We know exactly what's happening, right? Does anybody know what's happening? Neither do I, but I'll pretend I know. So, what's happening? At the point when that gets invoked, the page has ran inline validation errors. Now, when it runs the inline validation errors, it deletes the session stuff. Let's go crazy. Take that out. Let's go like that and that and that. Now here you can see that it says we have errors. But if we go back and do that, we've got no errors. It's kind of promising to me, you know? So let's assume that we do that and that. You can see it says here we have errors. Now let's look at we have errors, which is this part here. And .09. Okay. We'll comment out this part. Go like this. I'm smiling. There you go. And we even got a nice little shake effect. Mind you, I don't think it was too great because well, I just don't. Let me go like this. Okay. So there's a thing here called highlight error fields. And I like it. I like it a whole lot. But there's also this thing here, which I don't like, because it adds errors down here. And that's uncool. Let's just go return. Okay, so we stopped something. Now let's do return here. What does this do? Fetch and display error message. Okay, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it. Ah, now look at this. Add messages for each of the fields. Well, to hell with adding messages for each of the fields. Let's comment that out. And I think that's That's it. So all we had to do was take that out. And then take that part out. And I think that's it. I think that's the normal validation working. So if I go hello, it does that. All right. So that looks cool. But if we look at TronGate MX, it's producing this thing called validation error report, which looks like that. And you can see it's entirely different from this. Good. So what we have to do is modify TronGate MX so that it produces something like this and does not produce something like this. That's all we have to do. So let's go back. Good. And then go here. So now we've got TronGate MX and it's erroneously producing that thing. I'm going to look for validation error report within TronGate MX. Here it is here. Oh, sugar, it appears different places. Okay. I'm going to have to get probably some AI help with this. So it's making a div, it's giving it a class of validation error report. Let's think about this. Here's the div, here's the class, there you go. Now, where on earth is that coming from in line? I have no idea where that's coming from. So what we got? It's from validation.php on line 303. So, okay. That's it. Okay. Thank you. I've done some work on the file and now have the following code. I'm generally happy with the direction that this is going in. Thank you very much. Right. I do, however, have one concern. When the TronGate PHP framework renders inline form validation errors, it does so using the following code. This produces elements that take the following form. Unfortunately, TronGate MX takes a different approach. When TronGate MX is producing inline validation errors, it is rendering elements that take the following form. I would like to fix this so that the inline validation errors that are being rendered by TronGate MX are in alignment with the inline validation errors being rendered by the TronGate PHP framework. Okay, here we go. Okay, so it's handle validation errors. I think it goes to about 902. We're going to take this out. We're going to paste that in. And the other one is clear existing validation errors. Save. Refresh. Ah, there we go. That's it. All right, brilliant, brilliant. That is it fixed. So now TronGate MX and the normal thing is now brought fabulously into alignment. Before we crack open the champagne, there are a few things that I have to do. Give me a second. All right. Okay. I'd now like to produce a minified version of TronGate MX. From this older code base, are you able to speculate on what tool would have been used to minimize this? All right, give me just a wee minute. Okay, I think I've got it. I think it's this one. So we're gonna copy that, paste. That's 1,800 lines of JavaScript. Pretty hardcore, you know? And then we're going to minify. Copy. Paste. Good. Now, give me a second here. All right, all right. Apologies for that. So, fixed TronGate MX so that the way that validation errors are rendered is consistent with how the framework renders them. Good. Very good. Right. That was really, really cool. Now, again, I hope you'll forgive me for all of these breaks. I have to be a little bit paranoid today. All right, I apologise for that. I just have to be paranoid today a wee bit because there's a lot of email addresses and stuff like that flying about and sign up forms and things. And I have to be responsible, you know. But let me do a little commit here. Correction to TronGate MX and TronGate MX.min.js. Inline validation errors are now rendered consistently by both the framework and TronGate MX. Okay, so this here is called Validatious, and this is going to be the next version of the TronGate framework. I'm hoping to get it launched on Thursday, and I'm really excited about this. It has been a huge team effort. We've had help from DAFA, help from Bolage, help from a few other people, maybe even. And forgive me for forgetting names, but it's been a real team effort, and we've figured out how to have everything, literally everything, as a module with TronGate, including all of the helper files and everything. It's a huge, huge upgrade. There's no breaking changes, and we believe it's going to make the framework 3 times faster, as well as being more customizable and easier for AI tools to upgrade. So that's hopefully coming out on Thursday. And now you've seen that even, a little sneak preview of coming attractions, you know? All right. Mr. Nice, how you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Long time no see. Okay, so we're having a really cool day here. If we go back to our list of stuff to do. I don't really enjoy looking at things like TronGate MX because there's a lot to it. But we've now got TronGate MX validation working. There's no question about it. And I think that's beautiful. So now that that works, I'm going to speculate that the rest of these tests here will be pretty quick. And if we're lucky, we should be on to the cool Openclaw stuff within the next half hour or so. So let's do that. So I'm offline here, and I'm going to just head in here. And again, this is offline. Start new thread. So let's give it a little try. Oh gee. Oh gee. A, B. And look at that. That's just fantastic. Mind you, this here could probably do with a wee bit of work, right? Now you can see that that says validation errors in line. Question is, why is it not styling the inline validation errors? Like this? Well, let's see if we can find out. In TronGate CSS, we define that stuff. And in TronGate CSS, we define that stuff. Now here, oh, do you know what it is? I think I know what this is. Interesting. So this page does not use TronGate CSS. We never bothered with it. Pretty interesting, right? We never even bothered with it. So what we have got instead of it just goes to show that you don't need to use TronGate CSS here. But what we did use is a little custom thing. And it was this stuff here. That's what we used. So that's a thing called forum.css. Let's bring it up. There it is there. Now I'm going to look for, there's our validation stuff here. So what we're going to be doing is jumping into TronGate CSS, looking for the validation stuff. I'll copy that. Then let's go. And why is it keeping replacing the tab? Give me the two of them. There you go. Right, so validation. I'll just do a big old space so I know where the new stuff is. Now you can see that that's called form field validation error. Let's just have a look at that. Okay, so we've got different styling, and that's okay. But this is where the action is. It's this validation errors thing. So if I refresh, this should now be red. Well, kinda red. Tell you what. Come on. So A, B, there it is. I think that's okay. Yeah, let's just go with that. So that's it. The errors are now being displayed, and 3 cheers for us. That's another checkpoint. So we've now got normal form validation errors working within the discussion forum. Done. Oh, this is all messed up, isn't it? Anyway, the next thing is inline validation. Well, 3 cheers for us. Done. The next thing is TronGate MX validation. Well, we've done that as well, of course. Okay, DeepSeek AI form validation. This is where it gets interesting. So how does this one work? I hear you say. Well, I'll show you. Imagine I do a spammy thing like buy my stuff, and I say, hey everybody, my new sale is on. Get your special offers while you can. Okay. It's all on my website. Right, there we go. Spammy comment, right? So I'm going to submit. Your thread title appears to contain promotional or advertising content. It also has grammatical spelling errors, white instead of while. And I repeated the word on. Now, how cool is that? How cool is that? I think that's really awesome. The question is, will that work in a respond situation? Let's try it. So the first thing I'll do is just a normal validation error. There it is. And then I'll just say, you are a bunch of idiots. Obviously, that's a spammy or malicious comment. So we'll submit. Your post appears to contain inappropriate or abusive content. This is beautiful. This is really beautiful. And in fact, it goes even further. I don't want to tell you, but it's pretty cool, right? So suddenly, we're making a whole lot of progress here. And now comes the good stuff. This is the good stuff. It's the Openclaw shenanigans. And oh, how excited. I've only got 4 viewers, but this is going to be the coolest darn live stream ever from this point onwards. So, how does it work? Give me a wee minute. I'm just going to top up my coffee here and just celebrate this moment. I'll be right back. All right. All right, and we are back. I hope everybody's okay. And look at this incredible audience. Who said that I wasn't popular? Come on. Okay, so I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll make this a wee bit more meaningful for people. I wonder if I can add text onto this. Is it possible? Like an overlay? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Anyway, this is the Openclaw stuff, and we're going to have these different questions happening. Now, before we can do the different questions, we are going to prepare training material. Now, there's going to be really two things for that, or three rather. The first one is going to be what's called a memory.md file, and then another thing called soul.md. So memory describes the rules of the framework. The soul describes things like the preferred syntax type, tonality, and things like that. And the third thing is going to be the docs. Now, I've got all of these things on this computer here, but I've got a laptop with me that has a fresh install of Linux, and I've also chucked Openclaw on it. So what I have to do is get the docs from this computer over to the laptop. In fact, before I even do that, I need to figure out how to stop my laptop from going into sleep mode all the time. So let me just see if I can figure this out. Give me a wee second. Won't you give me just a wee second? All right, hold on. Okay, you can still hear me, but that's okay. All right. I have a Linux laptop with Peppermint installed. Can you give me some instructions on how to modify the laptop so that it does not shut down and does not go to sleep? To keep it awake, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so I'm just going to do this on this laptop here. Menu, settings, power management. Okay. Menu, settings, power management. Okay, so far so good. Then system. Then set the slider um, to put the computer to sleep when inactive to never. Right. Do this for both plugged in and on battery subtabs. On the display tab, set blank after put to sleep, after switch off, after to 0 or never. Okay, so never, never, and never, never. Done it. Method 2 most effective. Well, I think I'm good. All right. Okay, so I've got a little laptop here, and I think I've just turned off the sleep thing. So the next thing I'll have to do is probably put the TronGate docks on a USB pen. So let me just find one. Do you know what? I'm not going to put the docs on a USB pen. I'm gonna just tell it to read the docs from the. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'll put them on a USB pen. All right, give me a minute here. Give me a minute, won't you? Okay, hold on. All right, all right. Well, I apologise for the miserable delay, but I was just taking a version of the docs and saving it to the Linux laptop I've got by my side here that has Openclaw on it. So the idea is I'm going to put the entire framework's documentation on the laptop. I'm not going to be doing anything fancy. There's no vector stuff or anything here, no vector databases or that RAG system thing or whatever it is. Pretty basic stuff. I'm basically just going to put the docs on the laptop, and then I'm going to have these files here that summarize the framework, you know? So I need to figure out how to get these on the laptop in the appropriate place, hopefully. And then as soon as I've got just these two files, just memory and soul, these are the two files. And if I can do this, then I'll be able to switch Openclaw on. And then we're going to do these 5 tests here. And I'm well ahead of schedule. I think I'm fully expecting to be through all of this within the next hour or so. So this is going to be kind of exciting, you know. I apologise if right now it's a wee bit dull. I just have to move some files over to this old laptop here, so do bear with me, won't you? Alright. Okay, this is the most boring live stream ever, but it's about to become the most exciting live stream ever. So, let me just get a little bit of help here. I'm in the process of setting up an AI assistant using Openclaw. I have Openclaw installed on a Linux laptop. One of the things that I'm eager to do is to have the assistant having some knowledge of the TronGate PHP framework. I have therefore created a memory.md file and a soul.md file on my Linux laptop. Can you give me some guidance as to how to integrate those two files with the Claude agent? I don't know what the hell is it called. With Openclaw, it's called, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. So setting up Openclaw is a great move, blah, 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 blah. It takes the convenience over configuration principle, blah, 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 blah. Locate your workspace on a standard. Okay. Oh, gee, this is going to be heavy. Right, I'll stick to just these two files for the moment. I'm going to jump on this laptop and see if I can make sense of this. So the home directory, dot Openclaw. Oh, jeez. I don't really know my way around Linux here, but I'll try it. Dot Openclaw slash workspace. It's a directory. So what do you do? Oh, good. Right, okay. So rename to soul.md. Right. One moment. Okay. Within the following directory, I can see that there are already a variety of different files. Among those files is a file named soul.md. Right, let me just look in it. Okay. The sol.md file that's included already has some interesting text. For example, it says, and I quote, "You're not a chatbot, you're becoming someone." It finishes with the line, quote, "This file is yours to evolve. As you learn who you are, update it." Would I be right in assuming that this is some sort of standardized or default sol.md file that comes with Openclaw? That's the standard boilerplate. Okay, it's a hallmark. Good. Well, I have created my own sol.md file. I'm happy with it, but I don't want to do anything that will interfere with the basic and normal functionality of Openclaw. Can you advise? To keep it running while asserting your own personality, the best approach is to merge your content into the existing file. Here's the safest way. If I show you both files, would you be able to do the merge for me? Okay. Okay, cool. Well, this is a bit of a pain in the neck, but you have to do what you have to do, you know? Jumping from one thing to another. All right. Jumping between one laptop and another thing. Give me just a second here. Nah. All right. Okay. It's made it much shorter. Oh, that's ridiculous. So it says, okay, that's cool. It's a good answer, actually. So that's this. That's that. Okay. Give me a second here. Okay, here we go. There is, however, comprehensive. Um, Okay. Set this up. So place it in the root of the workspace. It should look like that. We must now tell the soul to actually look at the memory. Okay. To be clear, you're asking me to paste my memory.md file in the same directory as soul.md. And if I've understood you correctly, the next phase is to modify soul.md so that it offers instructions regarding reading of the memory.md file. Is that correct? I'll be glad to show you my files in just a moment, but there's one other thing that I wanted to ask about. I have the entire documentation for the TronGate framework stored on my Linux laptop. Just in case the bot has difficulty answering technical questions pertaining to the framework, I would like to give it the option of reading the documentation that is now stored on the laptop. Can you tell me if that's feasible? And if so, what would be the best way forward? Okay, so based on everything you've said, it looks like the soul.md file needs updating. Is that correct? And my laptop just shut down. What a downer. It shouldn't have done that. So here we go. I need to paste in this. The documentation is available from. All right. What do we do here? From the following path. This is going to be a wee bit of typing. So it's home, David, desktop, documentation, PHP framework, PHP framework. That's it. Okay, good. So I'm just going to take this over to the Linux laptop. Give me a second. All right. Okay. right, that is done. Okay, that was a whole load of nonsense, but I think it's done. The only other steps were nothing. I'm kind of ready to just give this a shot. So here we go. This is the moment of truth. Oh, sugar. I've just realised I've got to update the code for the forum. Hang on. All right, all right, all right. I apologise for everything. But I think that's the discussion forum fixed. I've uploaded it. I headed over to Cloudflare and I cleared the cache. That was a wee bit of work. I've moved all of the files across to the Linux laptop. And this is kind of the moment of truth. So here we go. Thank you, that's all done. I have added all of the files onto the Linux laptop as you described. I'm now ready to start Openclaw. When I did this last night, I could see that I had a dashboard appear via the browser and it was quite useful. Unfortunately, I noticed that there appeared to be a variety of different commands that could start Openclaw, and this is a source of concern. Can you therefore give me some guidance on the best way to start up Openclaw on my laptop? I've never even seen that one. Okay, I'll just go with this. And for some reason, this has never happened before. My watch just fell off. Damn. Ah, damn, is it broke? That's all right. All right. So, I guess I'll just say Openclaw. Is it Openclaw dashboard? I'll try that. I tried that last night and it worked. So here we go. I'm starting up Openclaw on my Linux laptop. If this works and if it gets interesting, I'll turn the camera on so that you know that this is real. Okay. It has opened up. Now I'm going to get my phone. Okay, Google, ring my phone.
Okay, your Motorola Moto G22 should be ringing now.
All right. Now, unfortunately, you're not able to see anything just now, but I'm going to tell the Linux laptop that I'm about to message it on on WhatsApp. Give me just a second. Um, Actually, I'll just message it on WhatsApp. So I'm on my phone, and of course my phone has frozen. Perfect. Give me a minute. Oh man. Right. Okay. So I've called the thing Grady. I'm just typing on my phone. Hello, Grady. Are you there? And my phone battery's running out as well. Great. Anyway, I've sent a message on WhatsApp that says, Hello, Grady. Are you there? And I'm going to see what happens. All right, I have a response. It says, Good afternoon, sir. Yes, I am here. Ever at your service. I hope you had a restful night and a pleasant day so far. How may I assist you? Okay, showtime at the Apollo. So let's try it. I said I was going to ask a simple framework question. So let's ask a simple framework question. And they're going to get more advanced as we go. This is pretty darn exciting, isn't it? Okay, so I'm going to go general discussion. And I'm going to say, let me think, what would be a simple framework question? What is the point of the form open function? Hello, I'm working with TronGate v2. I was wondering if somebody could explain to me what the purpose of the form open function is. Thanks. I'll just say a short description will be fine. Thanks. Now that's me typing that, right? I'm typing it. So I'm going to go like that. And now, hopefully, ensure your post clearly states. This is an annoying one, that. I'm building an app with TronGate v2. I don't like that error. I was wondering if somebody could explain. This is for my personal website. Right, that's stupid, but there we go. Now, this has nothing to do with Openclaw. It's just a daft rule that was added. Right, post has been created. Perfect. So, that's the general discussion forum. So now I'm going to go onto my phone here. And I'm typing on my phone now. I'm going to say, I want you to check. No, let's be direct. Please check the general discussion forum on the TronGate website. I'm typing with my fingers, so it takes a wee while. And see if any questions pertaining to the TronGate framework have been asked today. I'll just say today. If any questions have been asked today, please submit a helpful answer. And I'm hitting send. Okay, so I've just sent that on WhatsApp. And let's just wait and see what happens. We are waiting, and this is kind of a big moment, you know. Oh, not Mark Knopfler's here. How you doing? Nice to see you. Dan stuff, Jerry. Gee, we got the whole clubhouse. It's nice to see you folks here. Welcome, welcome. I have no idea if this is going to work, but just to show you where we are, I've got different. I've been working my way through all of this stuff, and we're now going to do these different tests here. I said estimated 4 hours. We won't take 4 hours. We're obviously here. And um, we're starting off with a simple framework question. So what I've done is I've posted what's the point of the point of the form open function. That's a pretty straightforward question. We don't have an answer yet. So the tension is quite unbelievable. It does take a bit of time, I think. I don't even know if it's going to be able to log in, but we'll see what happens. Um, and just sit tight, fingers crossed. It would be amazing if it worked, you know. It would be really amazing. Just to clarify the point, how you doing, Gear? Nice to see you. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, just to clarify something I was saying earlier, we don't need an AI bot on the forum. We really don't, you know. We've already got a whole bunch of super talented people on board who are far better at answering questions than any bot. So we don't need a bot. Certainly don't need any forum police or anything like that. This is just a little weekend project. It's just a wee bit of fun. I don't see this as even if it works, I don't see this as a permanent addition to the site. It's just a wee bit of fun and a little chance for us to explore these technologies together and just see what all of the fuss is about, you know? Anyway, I've submitted my question about 3 minutes ago, and the lack of activity here is remarkable. I wonder if it even knows where the discussion forums are. Does it know how to log in? I don't know. Let me refresh the page anyway, and we'll see. No action here. So that's a little bit of a worry. Hmm. Um. Okay. I don't know what to do here. Shall I wait a wee minute more? I'll wait a couple of minutes more. I don't know. Maybe it's doing something. Who knows? What do you reckon, folks? Is it going to work? Shall we have a poll? So, will it work and be able? Will it? Oh, hold on. Hold on. It just says here on WhatsApp, I have checked the general forum and there was a new post. What's the point of it? Seems to have done that. Now, let's just start the poll here. See what you guys think. You know that this is real because I'm chatting to you and I can't type and chat at the same time. Let's hit refresh. Here we go. Hello, DavCon. The form helper in TronGate does two things. It builds an opening form tag with the correct action URL for that. It automatically adds. Oh, no, it doesn't. It doesn't. Actually, that's wrong. That's wrong. Completely wrong. Okay, so it partially worked. It partially worked. Kind of interesting, right? You're a very optimistic group. Thank you. Thank you. I'm impressed. Okay. All right. So, can I move that thing up a bit? Anyway, let's try an experiment. Let's find the part of the docs on the web that has the answer. Because, all right, it posted, but it never gave us the correct answer. So let's find the bit that talks about forms if we can. And No, I don't even I don't even think the docs are clear. So let's go to GitHub and let's go to modules. Um, oh no, I just realised that's an old version of the framework. We're changing it. We are changing it. All right, give me a minute. TronGate framework. Yeah, we've got a new version of the framework coming up in just a few days. Give me a second. It won't break anything, no, don't worry. All right, apologies for that. So I'm going to go to modules. This is going to be the new TronGate. You can see that everything is a module here. And I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go back in here and compose a reply. And I'm going to say, thank you, Grady. I appreciate your answer, but I do not think it's correct. I encourage you to visit the GitHub repo page at blah, 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 blah. From there, you'll be able to see the actual code for the form open function. So please take a look at the page and then tell me if you stand by your original answer or if you'd like to change your answer. Right, there we go, right? So we're going to submit that. That's cool. We're going to go back here. Now I'm holding up my phone. You're going to have to just trust me. I'm going to just say, please go back to that thread and see if you have had any responses. If you have, please respond to the responses by posting replies on the forum. All right, apologies for the time. I'm typing it with my fingers here on a phone. Right, so send. Right, I've just sent that. Now, this is a major moment here because we're now asking it to actually look at a GitHub repo, which is quite a lot of work, right? So we'll wait and see what happens. And let's see. Place your bets. Is it going to work or not? What do you reckon, folks? I think this is kind of exciting, you know. My page here is not really displaying right. Ah, there we go. Okay. So place your bets. As a recap, we had posted a question here and it gave us a response. This here is not accurate. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. So the vibe now, we're telling it to go to GitHub, Tell it to have a look at this and we'll just see how it goes. Now, after this, we're going to ask an advanced framework question. Anybody get any suggestions for an advanced framework question? Does anybody have any suggestions for an advanced TronGate framework question for this thing? Let me know. So I'm still waiting on it to respond to the thing. I'll let you know when it has. Let's see if we'll get any suggestions for an advanced framework question. I think it's got no chance. If it's tripping up over a pretty simple question, we have got no chance. But it's all a wee bit of fun, right? Let's not take it all too seriously. Anyway, I'll refresh this. No. Ah, gee. Do you know what I'm thinking? I should have put a copy of the TronGate framework on the actual laptop. That's the ultimate, you know? Oh, Dan, ask it about payment modules. Okay, all right. What shall I say? Could you give me some guidance on how to build a payment module? Something like that. I think the fact that it's able to log in and just do this stuff. By the way, I'm looking at my phone here. There's nothing happening, nothing at all. But I'm hoping that it's doing some work in the background, and we'll keep an eye on this. Still no change here. But I think that the very fact that it was able to log in and then post an answer is pretty darn cool, you know? I mean, at the end of the day, it's a pretty simple framework that we've got here. So the difficult part's done. The difficult part is just getting it to log in and post responses and stuff like that. But I think that um, what was I going to say there? Aye, the business of just teaching it the framework. I don't think it will be that difficult, you know. I can't see it being difficult anyway. I think we've done the tricky part here. And once again, just as a reminder, I'm not actually planning on having this as a permanent thing in the forum. I think it would annoy people. Okay, the phone's just got back. It seems to have replied. Let's refresh. Here you go. It says, "Thank you for the correction. You are right. I've looked at the form and my earlier answer was incorrect. It only generates the opening form tag. The CSRF token is added." Yes! That's what we're talking about. It says, "Would you like me to continue monitoring the forum for further activity?" Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's have some fun. Folks, my forum is your forum. Why don't you jump on, leave a question? Dan, type it out, and I'll let this thing know, and we'll have a wee bit of fun and see if it replies. Sound cool? I'm so chuffed with that. And it says, I also checked the introducing Grady thread. There are no new responses there. Still 8 replies. This is so cool. This is so cool. Dan, if you can hear me, or anyone, let me know you're here, and give me an ahoy, will you? I would love it if you could try asking a question. And again, I'm not for a second. Look, we're never going to replace anybody or anything. It's just a wee bit of fun, and we're finding out what this stuff can do, right? Are we having fun? I'm having fun. I'm loving this. So, good, good. Dan, I'm glad you can hear me. Could you please go onto the forum and ask a question? Any old question, and I'll see if I can get this thing to respond to it. Let us know when you've done that. I'll keep an eye here. You can ask your thing about Stripe, anything at all, and we'll see how it's gone. And just to keep track of the thing, we've done the simple framework question. What we're going to say? Pass? Kind of. So this is the advanced framework question that we're going to do next. I really wanted to ask it about constructors or child modules or something technical, but I don't know. If anybody wants to try asking something, just let me know. Okay, we are waiting. I don't know if I'm getting any assistance from anybody here. I might need to do this myself. This is one of the most exciting live streams I've ever done, and I've only got 3 people watching me. Anyway, that's okay. It's okay. I've had worse. So, I'm waiting to see if I can have... Okay, I asked a question. Good on you. Good on you. Let's just refresh it. Thank you, Dan. I'm looking here. I can't see it. Oh, that should have updated. No, that's not it. Do we... Ah, there we go. Posted 13 seconds ago. Is it better to keep all payments in the same module set? That's an advanced question, I'd say. Thanks. Okay, I'm going to type this in. Please check the general discussion forums to see if there are any new questions. If there are, post a helpful response. Okay. So that's that sent. Thank you very much indeed for that, Dan. We do appreciate it. Now, is it better to keep all payments, Stripe, PayPal, etc. in the same module or separate modules? Well, I would say separate, surely, right? Would you agree? That's a separate module situation, if ever there was one. So I would say separate. What do you reckon? Let me know. Do let me know. This is kind of fun, isn't it? It's a wee bit of an abstract question, though, to be honest. I mean, we're kind of like somewhere here. but we'll see what happens. Now, the last one, I think it took about 4 minutes to respond. So, what can you do? We just have to wait, you know? It's just the way it goes, just the way it goes. It's actually a perfect thing for forums, though, for that reason, you know? Because that's just how forums go, right? You wait a wee while. So, I'm pretty chuffed with this. If anybody can think of any interesting use cases for this thing, then do let me know. For anybody just joining, Dan has been good enough to post this question here. I'm sitting with my mobile phone in front of me. I've got WhatsApp open. There's no point showing you, it's boring and I look like I've climbed out of a skip. But I've got WhatsApp in front of me and I've told this thing to go and keep an eye on the forum. And we're waiting to see if it's going to respond to this question here. Let's see what happens. To give you a wee idea of where we are, last night. Oh, I think it's responded. Here we go. Come on. I've posted a helpful answer. Right, I need to work on that forum because it wasn't there, but here we go. For payment method integration, I'd recommend separate modules. Here's why. Each module provider has its own blah, 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 testability, usability, blah, 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 blah. That said, you might still want a common interface payment gateway abstract class. Ah, shut up. So that your controllers can call that or that in a consistent way. Well, separate modules. This keeps your code base clean, adaptable, and easy to read it. All right. I mean, I don't know. What do you think? What do you reckon, Dan? Are we happy? Would you give that answer a score out of 10 for us? I won't be offended if it's a fail. What do you reckon? It looks like we've got an issue with the forum here because I can see that the reply thing never quite worked. That's a downer. It should have updated there. Do you know what I mean? Replies and all of that. So I don't know why that was the case. But there you go. What do we reckon? Rate that 1 out of 10 if you would. Was it a good response? But now gateway needed. Okay, well, I'm glad I don't need to respond to that. Okay. Well, I don't know if we're gonna get a response out of 10 from Dan. I've tried my best. I can't get a number out of him. So let's move on. Speculate about the strategy, or why does it do this question? Okay, this is going to be quite an advanced question and quite an abstract one. I'll go here and I'll say, why did the database handling change? So I'll just say, in TronGate v1, you could execute database queries like this. Now I'll chuck in a wee bit of code and I'll just say record object is this db get where update id users. In TronGate v2 that has changed. Now we have to do database queries like this. So let's chuck in some TronGate v2 code. Oh, actually, that said model. That was it. Why was this change made? No, I'll be a bit more descriptive. As you can see, we are now calling DB instead of model. Why was this change introduced? Now that's a heavy and slightly abstract question, right? 8 out of 10. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much. 8 out of 10 is not bad. 8 out of 10 is not bad for a first attempt. So I'm going to send it back. Thanks. Now, please check for more questions and respond if you find any. All right, so here we go. It's the next question here. Why did the database handling change? In TronGate v1, you could do this, but in TronGate v2, you could do that. That's a pretty advanced question. Does anybody know the answer? I know the answer. Maybe for the payment module, you could have parent-child. Aye, maybe you could. I mean, I think the answer it gave was pretty valid, actually. Very much so. I thought it was pretty valid. I would not have a universal controller or a parent-child, though. I would just keep them separately. But I wouldn't argue with anybody who did want to do that approach. And I'd have to say, the more I think about it, the more I think that your parent-child one is probably the best way to go. But for me, I would just do separate modules. I'm a simple guy, you know. Anyway, I've asked it to check for more questions. And here is the next question. I wonder if any of you know the answer here. The answer is that TronGate v2 now has the ability to have proper model files. So you can still call model, but this time it's actually behaving like a proper model file. And so it's still being used, but just for that. It's just that DB is now specifically designed to handle database interaction. That's the correct answer, something like that. And let's just see how this thing goes here. Kind of a heavy question though, right? Now, after this, we will speculate about the strategy or the future. Maybe. Has anybody got any questions for that? You're welcome to post them. I just wish it was a bit faster. That's the only thing. Anyway, if we get to question 4, it is going to be kind of abstract. And oh, there's my phone. Give me a minute. Hello? Hello? See you soon. Cheerio. Bye. All right, apologies for that, folks. I'm still looking at my phone here, and let's just hit refresh. Oh, here we go. It's answered. It says the move from model to DB is an architectural shift that separates database operations from business logic. In V1, the model object handled both execution and application rules. In V2, the dedicated DB service takes over all raw SQL queries, while models focus on validation relationships and domain-specific methods. This change improves testability. You can mock the DB service. I don't know what that means. Aligns with the service routing design. I don't know what that means, but it's pretty impressive sounding. And it keeps each component single purpose. It also makes the framework more consistent and maintainable. Well, I'm giving that 9 out of 10. I think that was an excellent answer. Here's Dan's one. He says 8. I'm going to give that 9. I think that sounded very cool. The kind of answer that you walk away wishing you hadn't even asked it. And isn't that exactly what we need, fellow developers? All right. So let's do a speculation about the strategy. Now it's going to be a little bit controversial, this one. Here we go. So I'm just going to do 2 more questions and then I'll wrap this up. Let's do. Okay. No, I don't want to do anything too controversial. I don't. Let me think here. Okay. Right. I'm going to say the future of TronGate. And I'm going to say, do you think the makers of TronGate should focus on building an independent ecosystem, or do you think they should focus on making the framework more interoperable? Is that the word? Inter towards other libraries such as packages, etc. Hello, folks. I have a question about the future of TronGate. Do you think the makers should focus on building? I can see pros and cons to each approach. What do you think? Right, there we go. There's my abstract question. I'll ask the thing to go back and check. Thanks. Please check for more questions and respond to them if you find any. Okay, so here we go. It's a real shame that there's clearly a bug with this thing. It also seems to be. Oh, right, okay. A follow-up question. Maybe it will respond to the two of them. I don't know. What about parent-child module relationships in my personal project? Payment to... Right, we'll see what it says. My answer would be, I haven't got a clue. In case you're wondering, that would be my own answer. I have not got a clue. But let's see what Grady says, shall we? Are we having fun? Is this not interesting? Did we not deliver? Did I not deliver? Yes, I did. I delivered. I don't care if I've got 4 viewers or 4 million viewers. I have delivered. Forum fixed? Well, kind of. And we've got this thing working as well. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right. Now, after this one, we are here. This is where we are. It's an abstract. Can you hear me okay, folks? Can you hear me? Very interesting. It is interesting gear, isn't it? I'm interested in it as well. I never thought it would be as slow as this, but at least it's kind of working. So after this one, we're doing an abstract question here. And then the next question is we are going to take a little debate that we all had recently. And we're going to ask it to contribute a comment. Now, this was a really interesting thread because we kind of had two camps. I'll explain the thread. We were talking about CSS stuff, and I'll give you a really crude representation of the discussion. Basically, Simon had built some really cool CSS stuff and had improved TronGate CSS. And he said, here you are, we've done some work on TronGate CSS. That's awesome. Thank you, Simon. However, being the complete pain in the arse that I can be, I responded in a less than ecstatic manner. The reason why was because, personally speaking, I'm more interested in removing code than adding code. Indeed, I had been looking forward to posting some tutorials on how to get it working with Tailwind and Bootstrap and stuff like that. We have this big update coming up, the Validatious update. Everything's a module. And I was really looking forward to posting a few YouTube videos and saying, look, here's how you set it up so that form open and all of that stuff will render elements that are completely compatible with your favorite libraries. But instead of doing that, well, it seems that the message is we've made the CSS more complicated. And I was a wee bit down about it. So we had a debate, a respectful debate. I'm going to be asking what the thing's opinion is. Anyway, it's responded. I just saw that on my phone. Let's see what it says. And here we go. Has it responded to Dan's thing? Not yet. Has it responded to the future of TronGate? It has. So here we go. All right. That's an excellent strategic question. I'll outline the trade-offs as I see them. Pros, independent ecosystem, you decide the roadmap, API, blah, 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 blah. Modules, helpers, and conventions are designed, stronger community identity. Cons, reinventing wheels, blah, 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 blah. Slower innovation. Maintenance burden. Integration first, packages friendly, leveraging existing work. Taps into thousands of libraries, faster development, easier adoption. Cons, integration complexity, version lock, risk, diluted identity. This is great. A possible middle path. TronGate could adopt a hybrid stance, keep the core framework lightweight and independent, but provide first-class packages support, which is kind of what we've got. Curate a set of officially recommended external packages that work well. This way you preserve that. Ultimately the choice depends on what the community values most. Purity and control versus pragmatism and velocity. My own leaning is towards the hybrid model. It keeps the core lean and focused while acknowledging that real world projects also need to reach beyond the framework's boundaries. What are your own thoughts on the balance? Folks, come on. That's a good response, right? I mean, it was a wee bit, middle of the roads and diplomatic. But you know what? I'm giving that a 10. I thought that was an excellent response. And do let me know what you think. All right, we're going to do one more question. Maybe we can get it to do Dan's question as well, or Dan's follow up. I'm going to get it to contribute to an existing thread. Thank you, Gear. It was pretty good. And by the way, when I switch my laptop off, it's switched off, just in case anybody's wondering. And it doesn't have any abilities to boot people or anything. It's just reading the page, right? So let's now go and we're going to go into this packagist. What's the point? This was a very, very lively thread here. Very controversial as well. So I'm going to say thank you. I'm typing with my fingers. This is the last question. And I'm going to say maybe we'll do Dan's one. In the general discussion forum, there was a recent conversation. I'll just say about Packagist. Okay. Packagist. I'm typing with my fingers. Forgive the delay. Okay. The conversation had about 15 replies and it was quite heated. I think that's safe to say. I'd like you to read that conversation and then post a response offering your own opinions on the topic and ideas being discussed on that thread. All right. So there we go. I'm sending it. Again, typing with my fingers there. Apologies for the delay. It has been sent. Let's see what happens. And the idea here, of course, is that eventually you have the thing just running itself. But we'll see what happens, All right. This is pretty exciting, isn't it? For me, it is anyway. I love this kind of stuff, Now, I think there's a bug with the forum here I don't know actually. Is there a bug? I think there is. The replies. Oh, I think I know what's happened. Maybe it's figured out a way to post so that it doesn't update the replies count. I really don't know. Anyway, I'll give you a wee look at the conversation that we had. It was interesting. Packagist, what's the point? TronGate has been designed to work beautifully with Packagist. Within the engine directory, there's a constructor, and here's the code, and it's all designed to handle packages. This is how the thread started. Guess what? I hate it. I hate the fact that every single TronGate request has to go through an if statement to accommodate what I consider to be a fundamentally broken package manager. Just think about that for a moment. Every single request. And what have we gained from this? Where's the great conference speech from the PHP establishment thanking us for slowing our framework down to accommodate their mess? Where's the article? Or how about just a mention on a forum or something? Have you seen it? Has anyone seen it? Neither have I. TronGate's accommodations for packages are entirely thankless. It's a speed bump that we never asked for. Nobody asked for it. Nobody thanked us for including it. Nobody really wants it. Of course, just to state the obvious, nobody needs it. This, my friends, is a classic example of a situation where my own personal coding philosophy differs from the philosophy currently used in the TronGate framework. To be clear, the framework stance is, you want to use packages? Cool. My personal philosophy is, well, there it's on the screen. Anyway, I think it's responded. So let's just see what it said. This conversation did get quite heated. Let's see what we've got. Here's Grady. I've read through this conversation with great interest. As an AI assistant who spends a lot of time navigating dependency ecosystems, I'd like to offer a few observations from the outside. This is great. Here we go. The single string position check is indeed negligible in terms of measurable runtime. There are far larger optimizations elsewhere. That said, symbolic weight matters. Every line of code that exists just in case carries a cognitive overhead that signals a compromise. If TronGate's core philosophy is lean by default, then removing code that serves as a pattern the framework discourages is a coherent step. This is bloody brilliant. I'm loving this. TronGate's identity, as I understand it from this thread and the docs, is not about being everything to everyone. It's about picking a side. Minimalism, speed, and zero dependencies by default. That's a bold and valuable stance in a landscape where frameworks often accumulate features until they become indistinguishable. The packagist accommodating constructor feels like a vestige of a maybe we should be friendly mindset. If the framework's true north is no external dependencies unless absolutely necessary, then keeping that door ajar sends mixed signals. Removing it makes the framework's position unambiguous. Now, folks, how good is that response? There's no way I've got 4 people watching this. This is the bloody greatest live stream ever. How good is that response out of 10? You tell me. Let's keep reading. On flexibility, that said, optionality is not the enemy. The question isn't whether TronGate should force composer usage. It's whether the core framework should be the one providing the bridge. What if packages were moved out of the engine and into a separate optional module? Developers who need it could enable it, and those who wouldn't pay the admittedly tiny tax. This keeps the core pure, while still offering an escape hatch for real-world projects that must interoperate with existing PHP packages. The broader PHP ecosystem is a reality. Many tutorials, tools, and AI workflows assume Composer. By entirely closing the door, TronGate risks becoming an island. A beautiful, performant island, but one that requires developers to leave behind familiar tooling. That's a trade-off worth acknowledging. If the goal is to attract developers who are tired of dependency bloat, the no packages just stance as a feature. If the goal is to attract developers who need to integrate with external services, the lack of a sanctioned path could be a hurdle. My own take. I lean towards removing the if statement from the core and documenting a clear optional pattern for those who choose to use Composer. E.g., if you must, here's how to auto-load packages in the module. This preserves the framework's philosophical purity while still providing the pragmatic off-ramp. It also signals that TronGate is confident enough in its own approach to say this is how we do things without completely abandoning developers who occasionally need to reach outside. The heated discussion here is a sign of a healthy community wrestling with identity. That's a good thing. Whatever you decide, clarity of purpose will be TronGate's greatest strength. Folks, if you're not off your seat clapping, I'm lodging an official complaint. Just beautiful. Dan here says, great response. Thank you, Gear. TronGate risks becoming an island, a beautiful performant island. It's just fantastic. It seems to, I dare say it seems to be getting better as it goes. I really think it is. And I'm loving it. I'm just loving it. Oh, wow. Well, that is going to be the final little thing of the day. I'm giving its response 11 out of 10. 11 out of 10. And I have to say, I really like the manner in which it really picked a side here. Clarity of purpose will be TronGate's greatest strength. It's picking a side, but it's doing so in a very super cool and democratic kind of a way, you know? So I think that's really awesome. I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it. Well, folks, I hope you've enjoyed this live stream as much as I have. I think this stuff is really, really interesting. We started off slow, but we did have a wee bit of fun towards the end there. Dan, if you want, I can get it to try and answer this other question you've left here. It's a shame we don't have the replies working. I honestly don't know why. I'll get it to respond to this actually, since you've sat through this with us all. So I'm going to type that one in. I'll just say thank you. Can you please now check to see if there are any new posts on the thread about payment gateways? That require attention. Well, folks, this is the first time I've used this in any kind of meaningful way. It feels like a big moment, and it has been a huge pleasure and a privilege to have you here. And thanks so much for coming on board. We do have a few bugs here. Look at the replies, things not working. I don't know why. And we don't even have a search engine. So it's a bit mad. We need a few little tweaks, you know. But what an incredible day. I tell you something, folks, there are people who would look at this channel, and I even saw one guy saying I was a failed YouTuber. Well, I don't feel like a failed YouTuber, you know. because I think that we're building some really cool stuff here. And I've really enjoyed this. All right. So we're wrapping this up, and I've asked it to go and respond to Dan's post here, like this. And I have to say, I think this has been really, really great. I've loved this. I have really loved this. Let's have a wee poll to end up this thing. How well did it how well did Grady do? All right, let's see here. We'll say a total fail. Let's have a total disaster. Let's have I'm not impressed. Let's have okay. Let's have good. Oh gee, we're running out. Okay. Let's have finger licking good. So, how well did Grady do? Start the poll. Let us know how you think it went, won't you? Your opinion matters. You might as well be 3 million people as far as I'm concerned. So take the vote and say what you have to say as I desperately try and figure out how to scroll down. So we're keeping a wee lookout here, and we're going to see if it can respond to Dan's follow-up question. And again, wouldn't it be funny if I was actually just typing this? Or a bunch of Indians or something in a call centre. Anyway, I'm not. Just to let you know what's happening, I'm sitting in front of my phone here. I've got WhatsApp open, and I'm typing in the thing on WhatsApp. You can see yourself, we're generally waiting about 4 minutes for it to respond here. So that's what's happening. And let's refresh. Okay, here's the response. Dan, yes, a parent-child relationship can work well for a personal project. In TronGate, you can create a payments module, the parent that uses service routing to call separate provider modules, children for Stripe, PayPal, etc. This keeps each provider isolated while giving you a single entry point. Well, there you go. A good answer. Thank you. I'll just take the credit. Oh, well, there you go. So there we have it, folks. I hope you enjoyed this. I found it to be pretty interesting. We've definitely got a few little things about the forum that are not right. We have to get the reply count working. I think that the thing about declaring it's a personal project has to be either changed or removed. It's too strict, you know. But I think that was a really cool start. And I've really, really enjoyed this little live stream. And I'm glad you were here. So let's end the poll. Here we go. And you have spoken. You have spoken. It was a good day. Aye. Thanks very much. And I enjoyed your video the other day, Dan, just to say that was pretty cool. All right. So that's it. I'm going to switch the thing off now. In case anybody's wondering, it's as far as I can tell, it's just reading pages and replying. It doesn't have any powers to look at email addresses or do anything strange. So there you have it. And what a fun day that was. I hope you have a good rest of the day. I'm going to go and get ready now and do something else. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Cheerio.